You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. Solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, it's Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? Boy, oh boy. Do we have a lot to talk about? No. All right. Before I start my show, my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected by this horrible shooting in Texas. This was truly an act of evil. There is no other description for it, no need for any other description for it. This was evil in the flesh. Anyone who would abuse an animal, beat a child, they are evil. Plain and simple, folks. I am not going to name the shooter. I'm not going to discuss it in detail, except to say he is evil. And while I'm not one to call for violence, I'm grateful that there was someone there with a firearm on the right side of things. All right, moving right along. I have so much to talk about. There is no way I'm going to get this all into an hour. Wish I could. But if this was some random night, well, I don't even think that ability exists anymore for me to sneak in a little early or run a little late. So I'm going to have to find some time and sneak in an extra episode this week. And I do have to mention I found an audio clip, and it does not relate at all to what's been going on in Texas. It doesn't even relate to North Korea. I want you to hear this one clip because it confirms what I've been thinking all along. And this was part of a committee on U.S.-Qatari relations. See if I can get this to play. Unfortunately, as usual, I have things half prepped.
After that was the trade for Bergdahl, the American serviceman who had gone missing in Afghanistan, and he was traded for the Taliban 5. This was facilitated by the Qataris and the Taliban 5. These are high-ranking Taliban officials and operatives ultimately came to Qatar as well, and so they augmented the presence that had already been there. And since that time, the concern has been not just that there has been an official presence of the Taliban inside Doha, but rather that also Taliban officials, Taliban militants have come in and they have reconnected with the Taliban 5 and some of the others. So there's concern that it's not just that presence that was first blessed by the Obama administration, but that there have been some operational concerns as well.
Thank you, and I yield back.
That was at I believe, a Senate hearing on U.S.-Qatari relations. No, it was House of Representatives. U.S. House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Middle East and North Africa. So I found that clip while I was trolling around. It's amazing what you can find when you go looking for it. I knew we didn't broker that trade all by ourselves, and I'm not saying we shouldn't have used our allies, but let's start off discussing Bergdahl. Yes, it makes my blood boil. All right? We're going to say that up front. And I'm going to do my best to be polite while I deal with this. Bo Bergdahl did not get any prison time. Now, you know I've got many friends who wear the uniform. Many, many friends who wear the uniform. And to a man or woman, every single one of them has been outraged. Absolutely outraged by the fact Bergdahl got no prison time. All right. Here's a clip from NBC.
Bo Bergdahl leaving court today in civilian clothes. Free but dishonorably discharged. His rank knocked down to private. After pleading guilty to desertion and misbehavior before the enemy, Bergdahl had been facing a possible life sentence.
I think he's still absorbing this. It's a tremendous relief, obviously.
President Trump blasting the ruling, tweeting, "The decision on Sergeant Bergdahl is a complete and total disgrace to our country and to our military."
I happen to agree with President Trump. Now here's one from ABC News.
On Friday, Bergdahl avoided a prison sentence of 14 years for desertion and misbehavior before the enemy.
Sergeant Bergdahl has looked forward to today for a long time. This has been a terrible ordeal.
I'm sorry. I don't care what ordeal it's been for him. Think about the men and women who were wounded while searching for him. The men and women who died searching for someone I consider a traitor. I'm sorry, Bergdahl, I don't care about you.
He's a traitor,
Yeah, that I agree with. Now, I've also heard rumors he's going to try and appeal his dishonorable discharge.
President Trump's repeated condemnation of Bergdahl may have actually helped him avoid jail time. The judge called Trump's disparaging remarks disturbing and said he might consider them mitigating evidence that didn't rule out a fair trial but may have eased sentencing. Bergdahl plans to appeal that dishonorable discharge. Dan?
That traitor is going to appeal a dishonorable discharge when he got off without spending the rest of his life behind bars due to his own actions. All right. I'm not trying to get too worked up here, but I'm sorry. There is nothing good out of this. And I can't say anything good about this in fact, that is Host Kitty's comment, and I'm going to let him have the last word. Because
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
That was not the outcome he should have received, in my opinion. Alright, trying to get myself off the topic. For those of you who live under a rock and aren't aware, okay? I've got a couple of interesting things. I usually do, but I don't always share them. I saw this on Facebook, and I found this banner. It was in English and Korean. It says, "Welcome President Trump. We hate Rocket Man and his helper Moon Jae-in." In other words, we feel like our president is facilitating what's going on in North Korea. Now, President Moon is a very peaceful, very very willing to discuss things type president, but I'm sorry. When the Korean people are putting up banners and signs, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that their president isn't representing their views. Now, I'm going to say there's going to be some friction during this visit. And I can't say that enough. There's going to be some fireworks. President Moon and his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump are probably going to snag when they talk about North Korea. Because Moon, first of all, those two don't have a relationship. And Moon wants to talk to North Korea. First of all, time out. North Korea doesn't want to talk to anybody. At least not till they have their nuclear and ballistic missile program complete and they can use it at will. So, like I said, it's going to be one of those, this is not going to be as smooth. I'm sure that's why he started with Japan. Now, a former U.S. envoy is touting the freeze option. That Russia and China are pushing. Wait a minute, we're supposed to go along with Russia and China? Excuse me, if it makes sense, I'm all for it. But guess what? It don't make sense, kids. And here is what Nikki Haley had to say about a freeze for a freeze.
War is never something the United States wants. We don't want it now. But our country's patience is not unlimited. We will defend our allies and our territory. The idea that some have suggested a so-called freeze for freeze is insulting. When a rogue regime has a nuclear weapon and an ICBM pointed at you, you do not take steps to lower your guard. No one would do that. We certainly won't.
Now, I want to remind you of what Mattis said.
Any use of nuclear weapons by the North will be met with a massive military response, effective and overwhelming.
Yeah. He's not into this freeze for freeze noise. He's not into any of this noise. He wants to flat out, if they given the orders, he's ready. Now, there are documents that have slipped out one way or another saying a ground invasion of North Korea is the only way to ensure that all of its nuclear weapons sites are eliminated. And this was sent to Ted Lieu in the House of Representatives. And it says, the only way to locate and destroy with complete certainty all components of North Korea's nuclear weapons program is through a ground invasion. Now it goes on to say that a classified briefing is the best venue for a detailed discussion of this. And now there is another interesting paragraph. It says, we assess North Korea may consider the use of biological weapons as an option, contrary to its obligations under the Biological and Toxic Weapons Convention. North Korea is not, repeat, is not a party to the Chemical Weapons Convention, and it has a long-standing chemical weapons program with the capability to produce nerve, blister, blood, and choking agents. And it likely possesses a chemical weapons stockpile. North Korea could probably employ chemical weapons agents by modifying a variety of conventional munitions, including artillery and ballistic missiles. Now, we don't know if they'd do it. Okay? This is one of those, yeah. And this was signed by Michael Dumont, Rear Admiral, United States Navy, Vice Director, Joint Chief of Staff. So, and it is on the official letterhead and everything else. So it looks pretty authentic. And I'm going to say, yeah. Now remember, the North Korean nuclear test site collapsed a little while back? That leaked the radiation it was trying to contain. Now, of course, Russia has offered to mediate U.S.-North Korea talks. But of course, remember, who does Russia trade with? Who? Who? If you said North Korea, ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I mean, this is getting out of control. I'm sorry. You do not lower your defenses when people are trying to get you. So that is just not something you do. You don't lower your defenses when people are truly trying to get you. And I like what Shinzo Abe had to say. This is the voice of a translator.
No point in the dialogue for the sake of dialogue with North Korea. Now is the time not for dialogue, but for applying maximum level of pressure on North Korea. We completely agreed that in order to make North Korea change their policy, Japan and U.S. must take leadership in closely collaborating with the international community so that we can enhance the pressure to the maximum level over North Korea through all possible means. I agree with President Trump that we welcome China strengthening her pressure over North Korea, and it is incumbent upon China to play even greater roles to let North Korea relinquish their nuclear and missile development.
Okay. I thought that pretty well summed it up. Now here's another one.
For more than 20-some years, the international community attempted dialogue with North Korea. At the time of Framework Agreement of 1994 and at the Six-Party Agreement of 2006, North Korea committed in abandoning their nuclear program. But each time the promise was broken, which resulted in North Korea buying time for their nuclear and missile development while we were making efforts for dialogue.
So we tried to negotiate with them. We really did. Now, I think I've got the right...
Pardon me. Thank you, sir. In response to the Texas...
All right, I think I got this now.
And secondly, you spoke yesterday...
Oh, nope, a little too early.
What's your message to their leader, Kim Jong-un, as you prepare to head to South Korea tomorrow? And if I could ask the Prime Minister a question as well, could you respond to what the President said this morning, that trade is not free and reciprocal with the United States? Thank you.
Well, as far as the North Korean people are concerned, Steve, I think that these are great people. They're under a very repressive regime, and I really think that ultimately I can tell you this, that I hope it all works out. It'll be better for everybody.
Yes, Trump feels for the North Korean people. Notice he doesn't mention Rocket Man. I don't think we have a whole lot of sympathy for that man.
For the last 2 days, I had indeed very serious discussions with President Trump. I also had an opportunity to play golf with our top pro, Hideki Matsuyama, yesterday.
So Trump's trip wasn't all business, but I've heard a lot of deals can get done on a golf course.
Melania and I are deeply...
I'm trying to play clip roulette here, folks.
First, let me congratulate you.
Yeah, I'm playing a little bit of audio clip roulette. All right, we have come to the time to take the commercial break. Now, just as a reminder, well, an announcement / reminder. I will be ending tonight's show on taps. Now, you can always catch me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. And you can email me at the station at jessespov@klrnradio.com. All right, it is time to pay those radio station bills. And I will see you on the other side.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Down if you wanna, you can run away if you wanna, you can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna, you can play dead if you wanna, forget what they said if you wanna, turn your back on the country needing you right now, but I don't wanna.
Alright, thank y'all for hanging in there with us while we paid those radio station bills. Now, President Trump talked tough, but unfortunately, if you know anything about South Korean politics, President Moon is about, let's just put it this way, he's a dove. He believes you can solve everything by talking. And this is a bad thing. This is a very bad thing. Now, of course, President Trump did say he'd vowed to figure it all out. No, I know I normally don't talk so much Trump, but he's usually in the U.S., not in the Asia Pacific. So, now I have heard that they've ruled out the DMZ visit. Officially, they're saying it's because, well, it's become cliche. I'm going to say that there's more to it. Now, we all know I can sit here and do North Korea all night. Yes? I think everybody knows. I can do North Korea all night. But there's something else that is just as important that is going absolutely bonkers, and some news outlets are picking it up and others are too busy with Texas and things of that nature. Dozens of Saudi royal figures, ministers, businessmen, etc. have been arrested. No joke, arrested. And it's been, so this means that Crown Prince Solomon is consolidating power. Now, a lot of these people are royal members of the royals. Now, when I say arrested, I guarantee you they are not, well, most of them are not in a jail cell. Okay? Most. Some of them are being held under quote-unquote house arrest in a Ritz-Carlton hotel. So, yeah. That's called comfortable detainment, I think. Now, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. People go, why do I care? All right. First of all, it is part of the glue that holds the Middle East together. And it blames Tehran, Iran, and I'm going to say rightly so, for helping to destabilize the region. But then it's gone on a corruption purge, as they're calling it. Now, remember, this is a dictatorship. This country is a dictatorship. The rule of law is largely based on the whim of the man at the top, which is King Salman. All right. So, what comes out of Saudi Arabia? Well, obviously oil, and we really don't want to see the oil flow interrupted. However, I don't think he's going to cut off the oil. Now, for those of you who don't understand how strict and restrictive life is in Saudi Arabia, I'm going to make this real clear. King Salman is viewed over there as progressive. What? Yes. Right now, women don't have the ability to vote. Or, excuse me, to drive. They may be able to vote. I'd have to look into that one. But they don't have the ability to drive. However, next year, they will. Now, Salman is trying to reshape the way the world sees his country, but he is being a bull in a china shop. The monarchy is literally doing the bull in the china shop routine. However common a way, maybe it's the right thing. Here's why. They need jobs, and they need to deal with some of the complaints that fed the Arab Spring. Remember that? Yeah, I know, 2011's been a while ago. And there's a few people Salman need on his side, but he doesn't need them all. And there are things that he wants the country to be a more moderate Islam that is open to all religions and to the world. And I'm wondering, I don't know. God knows I can't read anybody's mind, let alone foreign leaders, but I'm kind of reading some tea leaves. I wonder if he's starting to crack down on the Wahhabis. Who? Wahhabis. The Wahhabi Islam is the most radical. Wahhabi madrasas, Islamic schools, boys only, thank you, are the ones that produce terrorists. Bin Laden went to a Wahhabi madrasa. ISIS was founded from Wahhabi teachings. Daesh, ISIS, same thing. Now, if he's really going after corruption, that's one thing. But that's not the only thing flying around in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia just said that Iran committed an act of war against them. An act of war. What kind of act of war? Well, we're getting there, I promise. The Iranian-backed Houthi rebels launched missiles at Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. And I'm sorry, launching missiles at someone? Yeah, that's an act of war. And while the Houthis aren't actually part of, Iran, direct, they don't wear an Iranian military uniform, they might as well. They are funded and everything else by Iran. They get their weapons from Iran. They get some, if not all, of their marching orders from Iran. So I think that it was an act of war, and I'm going to say that, guess what? It was. Iran was behind it. Now, of course, Iran says, we can't get missiles over to Yemen. Have you lost your mind? Well, guess what?
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. That's not how it works.
Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button tonight. Yeah, they can. They do it all the time. Mostly by ship. Because you can get weapons on ships, especially smaller weapons. Thank you very much. So, if Salman is truly trying to make Saudi Arabia more moderate and less Wahhabist or extremist, that's a good thing. If he is consolidating power for some bigger purpose, I have no idea. What is going to come of it? I mean, they just had a major conference over there. They're trying to get more businesses and encourage other things. And Saudi Arabia is a very important place when it comes to the Middle East, like I said. Despite their lack of human rights, and yes, I'm going to call it a lack of human rights. They are part of the glue that holds the Middle East together. Now, I've got one other story I'm briefly going to touch on. And this is a part of the world I really don't report on often. All right. Anybody heard of the Paradise Papers? Well, the Paradise Papers are documents, and we're talking 13.4 million files from an offshore law firm, Appleby, and it shows that a number of people, some of whom who do not directly control their own investments, okay, have been investing in some rather controversial places, topics, and things. One of them is the Queen. Yes, the Queen of England. Now, let me explain for those of you who don't know. The Queen of England does have a personal income. All right, who doesn't? So, her money is put into essentially a blind trust. She doesn't control what it's invested in. She doesn't have any say and probably doesn't even know and doesn't care. And it's called the Duchy. It's run by the Dutch. She willingly pays taxes on everything she gets. She is exempt from taxes because she is the monarch. However, she pays the taxes. The Duchy of Lancaster is the one that deals with these funds. She doesn't have a say. Now, everybody, give the Queen a break. She's not the one who actually made the investment, okay? I'm going to say just back down. All right? Now, got one more really twisty thing I want to talk about because I know I'm almost out of time. And this one isn't, it's in the news, but it's not. All right. You ready? You ready, friends? All right, here it goes. I am a concealed carry permit holder. When do I carry? I have a real simple answer to that. Am I outside of my house? And I don't mean out in the front yard checking the mail. Have I gone to the grocery store? To a fast food place? If I'm outside my house far enough to get in my motorized vehicle, I'm armed. I don't generally make calls for action, but I'm going to reach out to my listeners. I don't do this often, friends. If you have the legal right to own a firearm and get a concealed carry permit, I don't care if you live in New York or California, jump through every hoop and hurdle they give you. Get the permit. You might be the last line of defense. You might one day be that hero who stops something more tragic from happening. And because it wasn't the police that took down or ran off that shooter. It was a civilian. And that man is a hero. That man and those who went after that shooter are heroes. If you have the legal ability to purchase a handgun and carry it or get a concealed carry permit, please, friends, do so. Alright, as a reminder, you can always find me on Twitter at Jessie's POV. That's Jessies POV. And you can always email me at the station at jessiespov at KLRNradio.com. Now, as I do every time one of these press releases hits my desk, I am going to end the show on taps tonight. And yes, the United States Armed Forces has suffered yet another loss. But in addition to the usual loss, I don't know if there were any veterans in that group. I'm willing to bet there was at least one. So I'm going to say tonight's taps has a double meaning. For the Sutherland Springs victims, and for Sergeant First Class Stephen B. Cribben, 33 of Simi Valley, California, who died November 4th in Logar Province, Afghanistan, as a result of wounds sustained while engaged in combat operations. He was assigned to 2nd Battalion, 10th Special Forces Group, Fort Carson, Colorado.